It looks like we didn't move, but
we both ran.
Yeah. Ooh, I need a breather. Anywho, welcome to DoubleBookedCo's reading sprints for May.
Mm-hmm.
We just finished our new product release, which is in a previous live stream. And then we basically dashed to go and find our books and whatnot to ready ourselves for these reading sprints, which I love reading sprints. I've been doing reading sprints on my personal channel, and though they're late, I actually really enjoy it. I just like connecting with people and chatting with people. So I'm excited for tonight's reading sprints. How about you?
Yeah, me too. I am slowly waking up a little bit more. You and I talked like a second, saying we were the first one for our first live. But now I think that little run did me a little good to like wake up. Like I ran, grabbed my books, and then I thought, oh my God, I need something to drink and I need to get chapstick. So then I ran back and I was so panicked, like so I'm waking up more now a little bit. I'm like feeling more engaged and stuff. I had to work this afternoon, and which is great. It's fine. I'm thankful for clients and everything, but it really drains me a lot. So I was like nodding off when I got home, and I had a big dinner, which I shouldn't have, but like whatever. So yeah. Glad to be here and settling down and chatting with people that I want to chat to.
Yeah.
For a change.
And fun people we like. So anywho, yes. So this is our reading sprints for May. And in most cases, we usually start reading our book club pick. I'm not sure if that's what I'm going to be reading tonight because I have to actually check to make sure I even have available an audiobook somewhere. So I may or may not be reading the Chilbury Ladies Choir tonight by Jennifer Ryan. That is our May pick for books, and that is Laura's pick because it is Laura's birthday month. Yes, ma'am. So make sure, everyone, you say happy birthday to Laura. When you see her on the street strolling,
right? Yeah.
Just say, hey, happy birthday. Yeah. 29 this year, right?
Yeah, 29 again.
Yeah.
A long time I've been 29.
Yeah.
I'll be 45 this year.
Well, you look good for 29.
Thanks.
Anywho, so in our live stream, we talked about June book picks, and we're not going to go through the synopsis or anything about that, but I'll quickly, or Laura will quickly just say what they are. But something to note for this poll and polls moving forward is I recently found out that we do have a community tab here on DoubleBookedCo. So we will no longer be putting the polls in our personal channels, Spenelli Speaks and Book Bubbler, just because we have a feeling that people are voting in there that aren't necessarily part of the book club or who are actually reading. Because you know how it goes. You're scrolling and you're like, ooh, a poll, and you just vote. We want to make sure that everyone who is reading is actually voting. So we're only going to have the poll in DoubleBookedCo's polling area, the community tab. But yeah, why don't you go ahead and let us know the 3 titles that we'll be voting on for June.
Yeah. And I will say too, like for people that just scroll through and vote wherever, like that's fine. 1 or 2 is fine. But it was like, over 15 people mostly. And like there aren't that many of us that are here. We're like, I don't know about that. Anyways, so first up is The Last Anniversary by Leanne Moriarty. This is set an island off the coast of Australia, and Sophie broke up with her would-be fiance, and then a year later she's mortifyingly single, and she ends up inheriting his aunt's house on an island, home of an unsolved missing baby mystery or something. So then she meets all the ladies around town, and they all like discover more about themselves and each other and change their lives, whatever. So there's Lattice Anniversary. Then we have Kim's Choice, which is what kicked off this whole family drama theme, and that is We Are the Brennans by Tracy Lang. This is a excuse me, I'm assuming large Irish family in New York. Sunday is 29. She's in a car accident and she decides to go home. She lives in LA. She decides to go home to New York, visit her family. She runs into her ex-fiance and everyone's got secrets. And yeah, someone threatens her family's business. They have to like decide what to do. And I guess a whole bunch of secrets get spilled. So that's We Are the Brennans. And then last is The Three Weissmans of Westport by Kathleen Shine. This one is a mother who is, I don't know how old, but I'm going to say like 70s or 80s. Her husband just divorced her and his mistress kicked her out of their apartment after like 48 years of marriage. So she goes to a cabin in Westport, Connecticut, and her two adult daughters come with her. It's a loose retelling of Sense and Sensibility by Jane Austen. And so the three of them all live together for the summer and try each other out and find love, you know, all those. So there we go.
Perfect.
Those
And we'll
are-
have the same kind of time frame. We'll have like 2 weeks to vote, but we won't have like a video announcing which one won. We'll post it in the community tab. We'll post it on Instagram, all that fun stuff. So you know what we'll be reading in June. And yes, Debbie, thank you. I did reinstall Libby on my phone a little while ago. I don't remember why. I must have been looking for something. So I'll see what I can do. Yeah, I know. I'm not crazy about that app. I really don't understand it, but that's a me thing. That is operator error. So if I can figure it out, maybe I'll use that. And yeah, this one's for you.
Thank you. Thanks, Debbie.
Yeah. What kind of cake did you get last year? Was it a lemon cake?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yellow cake with lemon middle. What is
Curd.
that? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Lemon curd. Mm-hmm. It was
Yuck.
delicious. I think I might just do donuts this year because that's my preference. And that's easier than a cake. I know.
Sounds so good.
I think I might just do donuts.
That does sound good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Whatever you do, do not go to crumble cookie because those cookies are like 2,000 calories per cookie.
Oh my gosh.
And I could eat like 4 of them. They're so good.
I know how good they are. There's a couple around here too, and I'm like, maybe I'll try one. But they're so expensive too. I can do it.
They are. I think the 4-pack is like $15, but they're so good. But yeah, I mean, I don't want to go into cardiac arrest over a cookie.
Right.
And obviously right now I can't have any because I have gestational diabetes, which means I can't have anything. So just sitting here eating salad and tuna.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, what will you be reading this evening?
I am going to start the book, but first I'm going to do like a try chapter essentially. So I meant to make a May TBR this month, and then suddenly now we're in May and I haven't done anything. Very typical. So for the Golden Girls year-long readathon, prompt this month is to read a book about inheritance. So I pulled 3 off of my shelves, and this one I'm going to try. I think I'm going to just let this go, but I do want to give it a shot first. So it's an ex-library book. It's The Mangan Inheritance by Brian Moore. This is the cover.
Okay.
Okay, so roughly, it's written, I think, in the 60s, or no, 79. It was published in 79. And so it's about Jamie Mangan, who's mid-30s. He is a poet and he like works for a newspaper or something. He's married, and then I don't know if they get divorced or what happens, but he ends up moving to Montreal, to move back in with his family in Montreal. And he's doing some family genealogy work and finds out that they're related to some like Irish poet, James Clarence Mangan. And I guess this guy now looks exactly like his like 1800s relative. So
Oh.
go and visit. Like he inherits something. What does he inherit? I forget what it is. There is inheritance in here, I promise. So he goes back to Ireland and tries to like meet his extended family. Like I don't know how many things there are.
Gotcha.
And it talks about like it's not very PC. Like there's a guy that works in a road gang and he's like really snooty. There's a crazy mother, Connor, a dwarfish, drunken, and dishonest man. Like.
Yeah.
And then I think there's like, yeah, an 18-year-old cousin that has the hots for. And I think they do stuff. So I don't think I want to read this, but I do just want to try it and like get past all the non-PC language,
Sure.
like relationship. It's a good book. So I'm just going to try it and see.
Okay.
I don't know where to go, but yeah. And then after that, I will be switching over to Chilbury for sure.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So yeah, are you going to start Chilbury maybe?
Yeah, I'm going to see if I can find it on some of the either Audible or Libby or what.
Mm-hmm.
But if I can't start it tonight, I am going to continue my reading of London because I was supposed to finish chapter 5 in April, and I have about 60 pages left in chapter 5. So I might try to finish that. And before I get into that, I'm at like 92% done of the second London Lovett book in her Firefly Junction series. So I kind of want to finish that too, because it's like just getting to the part where they're like figuring it all out. So I might do that first while I'm trying to find Chilbury, because I figure at 2 speed, I probably could finish it real quick in one sprint.
Yeah.
So I've been really enjoying those books. So like I said, I'm on number 2. The only thing is my Hoopla account only has the first 3 books. There's like 12 books.
Yeah.
There's only the first 3, and my library doesn't carry any physical copies of these books. So I don't know. I'm not paying for them, of course. So I might just be like done with 3 and see what happens in my life if they just stumble on my doorstep or whatever, because I've never seen these. I mean, I think she's an independent author and not widely sold. So yeah, but that's my plan. In the comments, let us know what your plans are. But yeah, let's go ahead and jump into our first sprint, as we're almost nearing on 15 minutes of chatter, which is the usual. If you've ever been in one of our reading sprints, we might as well just call them a chatting sprint. But I don't know if I do this in this one. I know in my personal reading sprints, we've changed over to 25 minutes as opposed to 20 minutes. Do you have a preference, 20 to 25?
I like 45 minute sprints. So for me, the longer, the better. I will go with whatever anybody wants to do. I don't care.
Okay. Well, the 25-minute sprints were working out really good. So let's go ahead and do that. It's at the 46 marker right now. So we'll lose a minute here, but 25 will bring us to 10 after, I think.
Okay.
Right? That's math?
Something
like that. 15 would bring us, 10 after. I'll put a thing up.
Oh, Lord.
But per the usual, Laura and I will mute ourselves so that we're not bothering anybody. I will bring up one of Miss Mary's lovely reading backgrounds. Probably not the one with birds. I know you don't like birds. And last time it was very distracting, I think, for some other people's. So I'll find one that doesn't have birds. No offense, Mary.
It's like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I like birds, but I know it was like, all of a sudden it was like, where's the bird? And then I was like, no, it's in the computer.
The robin awake right now. I know.
Yeah, it's nighttime. Where are these birds? Anywho, let's go ahead and do our thing. Awesome. Happy reading.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that brings us back from our 25 minutes. And yeah, tell us what you accomplished. I see that a few mentioned what they're reading. Looks like Allie is going to finish Run Towards the Danger by Sarah Pauly after she washes the dogs. Ooh, a swamp. That sounds dirty.
How's he doing?
Yeah, how's he doing? And then Debbie is reading Saturday Night at the Lakeside Supper Club. That sounds fun. Aw, that's so nice. I like the watermelon bookmark. It's very bright.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, are you there? God, it's me, Margaret. Will you be watching the film? All I remember from that book is the we must increase our bust. Ay, ay, ay. Such a Such a good book.
Mhm.
How did you do? What did you read?
So I'm 45 pages into this. It's fine. I don't know what to do. I should probably just DNF it, right? If I don't really care, I don't know. So yeah, I just read this and it's just fine. It is a little old fashioned, of course, being as old as it is. I mean, I'm older than it, which is horrifying, but it just seems sort of flat, I guess. Like he's visiting his father on New Year's Eve. And he's talking about his divorce, and she just sort of told him like, "Listen, I fell in love with somebody else, and I'm gonna marry him, and we're gonna get divorced, and you can keep the apartment, okay? I gotta go." He was like, "I have questions, you know." So it's all very straightforward like that. Even in a flashback, it's just very flat. I don't know. I should probably stop reading. Hey, it's not bad. It's going quickly, clearly.
Yeah. But I think what a lot of the times what happens with you is that you'll like try to just read it all. So then you end up having like 3 stacks of ongoing books.
Yes.
Because you have a TBR that you want to read for May, and then you're like, oh, but I want to read these because these are library books.
Mm-hmm.
I would just DNF it. I would just be like, nah, pick a different one.
Mm-hmm.
I think depending on what gets chosen for June, which I did get the poll up. So if you're interested in voting in our June reads, the poll is up. I think you mentioned one of them, someone inherits something. So if that book gets chosen, you can just use that.
Last anniversary. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. I do have 2 other choices. One of them is by Mary Stewart. So it's like sort of magical realism, something or other. And the other one, I don't remember right now, but they're all like thinner kind of books that are some more interesting than like this thing. So
yeah.
Yeah. So that was 45 pages read for nothing, but that's okay.
Yeah.
What did you do?
So I did finish the London Lovett book while I was looking for the Chilbury book. So that was pretty good. I literally I had to pause like in the midst of it. I kind of figured who the murderer was, but I liked the way that they kind of came about to it. It wasn't as good as the first one, but it was still good, and I like this. So London Lovett writes cozy mysteries, for those of you who don't know, and I'm reading the Firefly Junction series, but I only really have access to like the first 3. But now that I figured out Libby, which I did figure out Libby during the break or during the sprints, I'll look on there and see if there's any on there. But what I like about it is it makes sense that she is investigating because she is a journalist for the local paper, and she considers herself like an investigative journalist, even though it's like she never gets the stories that would cause her to do these things. But it makes sense that she would want to know about and or investigate so that she could write a piece. So for me, that's my biggest thing about cozy mysteries is like the person is like for Hannah Swenson, she's a freaking baker. Mm-hmm. Why are you investigating? Like, or it's just always something weird. Like, why are you so interested? There was one book where literally the person who was investigating is because when she was like 5, her and her friends in the neighborhood like to play like investigator, and that's why she now is still interested in investigating. It was like too far-fetched. So I like that it actually makes sense that she would be involved.
Yeah.
But there's also like a paranormal piece to it, which is not being. It's like the one thing that's like taking forever to like really reveal. So I feel like that's like gonna be like the whole series is the main thing, but then like this ghost thing. And I want to know about the ghost thing. But it's like so slow. But that's okay because the books are just fine. And they're short. They're super short. So they're fun to get through. But I finished that pretty quickly. And then I was able to figure out Libby. And I was able to get the Chilbury Ladies Choir, and I started listening to that. I'm only 2% in. But already, like, I think it's the second chapter or something. This lady is not nice. She's like gossiping about everyone. She's like a midwife. I don't know what her name is. Maybe Miss Edwina. I don't know. She's like a midwife, and she's like talking about people who like, this person came to me with gonorrhea, and she's like writing this letter to someone else and be like, I had to help the whole family or something. And I'm just like, why are you telling people this?
Yikes.
Oh, it's good so far. I mean,
Yeah.
I was laughing. I was like, oh my gosh, like, why are you telling people this? Like, isn't there some kind of like doctor-patient confidentiality thing going on? So, yeah, it's decent. So,
Good.
Oh, excuse me. Suddenly had me on there. But yeah, it's pretty good.
Nice.
So.
I just pulled off my jacket for the hardcover, and it's like this naked hardcover is gorgeous. Look at this.
Oh wow,
I know.
That's cool.
The back too, like that's so pretty.
Cool.
I
Yeah.
know. That's a nice surprise.
Yeah. Looks like Allie says he's doing great. Back to his spooky self.
Good.
She's totally on board. DNF. Debbie is gonna watch the film. Yeah, couldn't read. Yeah. Very nice. Oh, Mary's here. Hi, Mary.
Mary?
15 pages. Very good. Cool. Yeah, speaking of TV or films, Laura and I have been going back and forth talking about two specific shows that we've been watching via Hulu. And I think they're both like coming to the end of their season. So it's like, but let us know in the comments. Is anybody watching Abbott Elementary? Because we are. And it did officially have its season finale of season 2, which was a good episode, but also kind of like really reminds me of the will they, won't they that happened in The Office with Jim and Pam. But that show is so good. I laugh so hard in so many episodes. What would you say is your favorite thing about Abbott Elementary?
I don't know. I mean, I really like everybody on it, but we talked about this earlier too. I really like Ava this year, and I found her really annoying the first season, and now I really enjoy the crap out of her. Like,
yeah.
So I think I'm enjoying how much I'm liking her because I didn't expect her to be.
Yeah.
She's growing, you know.
Yeah.
It's not just like the same. So I'm really liking it a lot. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, similar with Ava, I think she's very much like the Michael Scott, except way more mature.
Yeah.
Like, because the first season you really thought, okay, is she going to be the Michael Scott where she like never gets it and she's always terrible and, you know, everyone just has to deal with her. But when second season came around, like, she really actually does care. And I think it happened in the episode where she had to sit in on Jacob's class and she was like actually engaged and then decided like, I'm going to go back to school or whatever she said. Yeah. And I was like, wow, she really is like turning a corner here. And ever since then, she has just been like doing things that you wouldn't have expected. And I mean, don't get me wrong, she still is silly. Like, still does stuff that it's like, come on. But yeah, I'm glad that because I don't know, I don't like characters like that just completely throw a wrench in everything. So I'm glad that she's like kind of part of the team now. She's really progressed in a good way, and I love all of the characters. There's not one that I don't like essentially anymore. So yeah, I'm pretty psyched.
Yeah.
Debbie watches, yes. Yeah, I think Jacob is sometimes the most funny when he like side eyes the camera. Like,
he's being like,
do you get it? Did you get that joke? See how clever I am?
I'm pretty
and
well.
You're like, you're not clever, Jacob.
I know.
The one episode that was really around him that I could not stand, and it wasn't his fault, but the sock puppet mural thing, I was like, come on. I would not have let those kids do that. No. I was happy like what it ended up being at the end, which was great and it worked out for everyone. But I would have been totally Jacob. I'd been like, nope, that's not happening. Not allowed. Take it down. But yeah. No, I love that. I love that show. And it's funny because I didn't really know. I mean, some of the characters you're familiar with because you've seen them in other things. But the actor who plays Gregory, you know, every scene he was in, I was like, gosh, this guy looks so familiar, but I don't know what he's in. Like, I don't understand why he looks so familiar. I don't think I've seen him in anything. My husband like walks through the room one day, just passing, not even watching the show. He's like, oh, it's that guy from Everybody Loves Chris or Everybody Hates Chris.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? Mm-hmm. He's like, yeah, he's the kid. I looked it up, which I hadn't before, which is funny because usually I do. And I was like, you're right. Oh my gosh. He's all grown up.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, yeah. He's like, yeah. How do you forget that face? I mean, he looks the same except bigger.
Yeah,
so, yeah. Which is funny because then I saw him sometimes on YouTube. I'll just watch small clips of like late shows. And he was on one of the late shows and he had made a comment about that, how when he's walking down the street, people will give him weird looks. And depending on what they're recognizing him from, the look will kind of change. So it's either from Everybody Hates Chris or he was in The Walking Dead. So they'll have like kind of two different looks. And then now, of course, with being in this new show. So he kind of has a little bit of fun with it because he's like, people kind of know who I am, but they kind of don't. But I think it's a stellar cast. I think they did a really great job. And I think they just recently won some awards, which is fantastic because, yeah, I think the show definitely deserves it. So funny.
Yeah.
So funny. The other show that Laura and I are watching, which is a police procedural, which, Allie, you might enjoy, is Will Trent, which is based off of a book series, but I don't think it's like, I think it's like very loosely based because when I read the synopsis of that first book, I'm like, that doesn't sound, I mean, it has some of similarities of like characters, but it doesn't sound the same. So that show is like, every time I see a new episode, I'm like, watch it right away because it's so good. It's so good.
I know you told me about it, and then another friend of mine told me about it, and someone else was like, okay, I'll start watching it. And I watched 9 episodes. Like, I started in the afternoon just to like try an episode and see, and all the way till I went to bed, I was like, you have got to stop. Like, you got to stop. And then it was just one new one, and I had to wait. There was like a week break for whatever reason. I was so annoyed. I'm like, is this it? This can't be it. No, I need more information. Like, yeah, it's so good. I really like him a lot. I like everybody. They do such a good job.
Yeah. Well, and I like that. So it is a drama, but it also has a little bit of quirkiness in it, a little bit of comedy that kind of lightens it a little bit because it does it. I mean, the content is very dark. Mm-hmm. And I just like the way it's directed. I like the way, especially the way it starts with how they bring his name in.
Yeah, different every time. I love that.
Yeah, I really like that. Mm-hmm. And yeah, Angie is getting on my nerves a little bit just because of her baggage is just playing such a heavy hand. But overall, I do really like, I do really like the show.
Yeah, I like the humor too, the sarcasm they bring in to like lighten the mood sometimes. And yeah, it's such a good show.
I do feel like the boss, I can't remember what her name is.
I don't remember either, but I can picture her in my head. Yeah.
I feel like she's not that great of an actor.
Yeah. And Oh, I was going to ask you this, but I'll ask you this now. I thought that she was gay in the show. And then they talk about her in the flashbacks to the 80s that she was with a couple of guys. Not that you can't, be bisexual or whatever she is. But the way they had talked about it earlier, I thought it felt to me like she had always been a lesbian. And then in the flashback, suddenly she was not.
But I mean, realistically, too, you could think of it maybe this the time frame.
Absolutely, yeah.
Acceptance or something. I don't know. I don't really pay that close attention to anybody's relationships except for like the main character.
I was so confused at that. Did I miss something here, or is this continuity error, or I don't know, whatever.
No, I don't know. I don't really pay attention. I know she's very single, and I don't think she ever ended up finding anybody. I think she's kind of like married to the job kind of thing. But I don't know. Like I said, I don't pay attention. The only couple I pay attention to is the one that involves Will Trent. Everyone else, I'm just like, whatever.
Who are you going? No.
Yeah, I don't even know your name. Where's Will Trent? Yeah. Where's Betty?
Yeah.
Ay. Not to ignore you, I see here, Ava cracks me up with the alien belief and then also the end of the world stocking up supplies. Yeah. She's such a goofball. And like how she has that private bathroom downstairs. And yeah. My favorite line from her, though, is I only go to 5-star hotels because when I walk in, I'm making a 6. She's just so funny. Oh, she's hilarious. Or like when Janine's mom comes, who is played by
Taraji P. Henson.
Yes, who's a fabulous actor. I love her. And Ava goes, "Oh, I know where I recognize her from. She's from the club."
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Anywho.
This is your mother?
Yeah, okay. Exactly. Yeah. I just love how Janine's like, "Do y'all hear that?" Yeah. And there's like nothing. Yeah. Like, I'm just like, what are we hearing? What are we hearing? And then all of a sudden, Miss Teagues. Yeah. And there she is, this loud and all in there kind of lady, just in the doorway. I ain't nobody's granny. Yeah. Only heard of it because you mentioned previous sprints. Will Trent also never heard of, but I don't have a TV. No wonder you read so much.
Yeah.
Well, good for you. No TV. Yes, Karen Slaughter books. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I don't know how much they're based on her books because, like I said, I read the first book's synopsis, and really the only similarity were a few of the character names. And it seems like the Ormwood character, which is Angie's partner, he's the main character in the books. Whereas in the show, he's not. He's like a side character. I mean, he's one of the main characters, but a side of Will Trent.
I'll ask my mom if she's read this series because she's read mysteries primarily, like more than I've been alive. So I'll have to see if she's read this one by Karen Slaughter. I don't know if she's she's show, but yeah, I'll ask her and see what she thinks.
Yeah, please do. Mm-hmm. Okay, enough chatter about TV. Let's get back to the books. Let's do another sprint. So it's at the 31 right now, but let's do another 25, a little bit late, and bring us to the 55. I might actually have to run upstairs and check on the baby. So you may see me disappear for a second, but let's go ahead and turn all our stuff off and on, and you all enjoy your next bit of reading.
Mm-hmm. You too.
See you on the flip side.
Thank you.
Okay. And we're back.
How'd you do?
I'm at 7%. Yeah, this is an interesting book. Did you switch over to?
Yeah. I'm liking it. I think I got people straight so far. I think.
Oh, I have no one straight, but like, I know when they come back on again. If that makes any sense. But like, I couldn't tell you who lives next door to who. I'm real interested to see if the sleigh is gonna switch these babies.
I know.
Like, that is so scary.
I know. She's so confident. I can't imagine it's going to go well.
And I'm like, just, yeah, I'll do it.
I mean,
Sure.
no problem.
Sure.
Okay.
Oh, my goodness. I think I could like kill somebody for that. Like, you always like you see in these shows, or you see like Dateline, like switched at birth.
Mm.
How does that happen? It's crazy. It's crazy. Mary said, was considering DNFing and picked it up, and it grabbed me at 11%. Good for you. Yeah, I'm not quite to 11% yet. I'm at 7%. So we'll see what happens in that amount of time. Sounds like maybe something good. Cool. Yeah, that Miss Edwina, man. Oh.
Mm-hmm.
It is very much giving me Guernsey vibes, but in a different way, obviously. I like this style of writing, and I like the time era as well. So
Me too. I really love epistolary style.
Yeah.
Go so much quicker. And I know once I get everybody straight, like exactly who is who,
Mm-hmm.
pick up the pace even more, like
Yep.
what's happening and everything. So I'm to the part, it's just at the first rehearsal for the new choir. So it's Miss Tilling's journal.
Yeah, I think in like the 13-year-old girl's letter or something, she was talking to like a choir director or something that's coming in. So that's like the start of being able to possibly start this ladies choir. I just love how it's like the men are gone, so we can't do a choir.
I know.
Like,
I know.
for shame.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Too funny. But 'tis was life.
It is.
Yeah. So speaking of nosy people,
yes, your neighbors.
Yeah. So for those of you who know, I am like the street lookout, the neighborhood watch, but more specifically just for this house across the street, because it's like the movie The Burbs, where it's like, what is happening over there? Quick recap. Since we've lived here in this house, there have been like 5 owners of this house, and we don't understand why nobody stays at this house. And most recently, the now previous owners, like, it seemed like they were really shady because they would only move at night. They would only do anything at night. It was super weird. And that's why I gave them the Burbs label. So for sale sign never went up on this house, but we keep seeing like someone who looks like a realtor keeps visiting the house. And then we saw there was like some showings during the winter and stuff. So, but I'm like, there's no for sale sign, and that's really odd. My husband used to be a realtor. He said sometimes that happens when they don't have any signs available and the market is so quick, it doesn't really matter. So I ended up looking him up on Zillow, and the house is not for sale, but it is put up as a rental. And so I'm like, okay, so they're going to rent it out. So maybe the previous owners, who knows, maybe they were just fixing it up until their actual house was done or something. I don't know. It doesn't matter. I can make up all the stories I want. But regardless, it's being rented at this point for like $2,000 a month.
Wow.
That's like 4 months of my mortgage. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I know people pay that for rent. I mean, but I don't understand how people can do that. Anywho, so yesterday, not in the middle of the night, but nighttime, like at 9:30 or something, people start pulling in, and I'm like, what's going on over there? Why is it always at night? And it was like a moving truck, but it wasn't there for very long. And then all of a sudden they're all gone. And I was there. I'm like, what is happening? this is so weird. And then today at like 7 o'clock in the morning, the moving truck was back, as well as all these people. And it just kind of like sat in the driveway for a while. Oh, that's what it was. Just the moving truck was there. No people, except these people in the moving truck. And I didn't see the people at first. I thought it was like the people who are going to be living there. And all of a sudden when I go, because, I'm not going to stare out the window the whole time. I got things to do. But all of a sudden I look out again and like they're just unloading the stuff right onto the driveway. And I'm thinking, what are you doing? That's so stupid. Like, I've never seen people move like that. So for those of you who have the Voxer group, that was the picture I showed you of like, they're just like putting things on the driveway. So after I watched a little bit longer, or like looked back, like kept going to the window because I'm super nosy, then I saw like the people who I think are the renters come. So, and then I saw the people who were in the truck, and it was movers. So my guess is the movers were there early. They probably only have a certain amount of time that they can do things. They started to unload the truck onto the driveway, and then the people finally got there and said where they want things to go. And then the movers took the stuff from the driveway and put it, they were either walking it into the garage or walking it into the house. So from what I can see, it looks like it's like a family, like man and woman. And then it looks like they have like a little girl, like a 2-year-old maybe. That's what I'm gathering is what it is. So I guess we'll see. I'm happy that it's like coming up on summer because it's easier to like accidentally bump into your neighbors in the summer, whereas in the winter, like everyone just stays in the house, so you can't ever bump into each other. But I always like to like ask people who they are when they live there, because then, it's like I can try to figure out like, so how long are you going to be here?
Right. My God.
But yeah, I'm like, why in the middle of the night? Why is it always in the middle of the night?
Yeah, it's not once or twice. It's like every time, right?
Every time.
That's
so weird. It's so weird. But yeah, and such a small moving truck too. So I don't know if they're like coming from somewhere else in town where they're just like moving things here and there. But I mean, $2,000 a month. That's insane. And that house is not as big as ours.
no, it's small.
Yeah, it's small. And I thought it was funny too, because on the Zillow listing, it said it had an attached garage. That garage is not attached, like not even by a little bit. Like there's at least a like 6 foot to like 8 foot gap between the garage and the back of the house. Like it's not attached. So I'm like, that's a lie. But I'm kind of happy like that it's a family as opposed to what we've had before, which is like single dudes or like newlyweds, or the first people that were there were a family, but they were like really snooty snotty with the neighbors that we have right across the street, which of whom we've been here for almost 7 years, and they like never talk to us because they're just too good for everybody on the block. And that's not my words, that's the rest of the block says that about them. So yeah, hopefully they're not viewers of this channel.
It'll be a very small world indeed.
It'd be a very small world. Let's see here. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to ignore everyone's comments here. In the last essay of Run Towards Dagger. Good for you. Almost done. Are the residents for sure owners, not just renting? No, that's what I mean. The people who are just moving in today, I'm pretty sure they are renters because the Zillow said it was for rent. It wasn't for sale. They were looking for renters. So I'm assuming that these ones are renters, which I don't know who can afford that kind of rent. Like if you can afford that kind of rent, why aren't you just buying things that go into buying a house? But like $2,000 a month. I mean, for this area. I mean, my brother who lives in Seattle, his rent is $2,000 a month for like an apartment the size of my dining room. But that's also Seattle. His cost of living is much different. His like pay is different comparatively. But for here, like little old Wisconsin town, $2,000 is insane. That's insane. This time period for women drives me crazy. Yes. So getting back to the book. Yes, it is annoying. That is one thing that does irk me when I read historical fiction, is just like how many times like certain things happen and you're just like, and the worst of it is some of it hasn't changed.
Yeah.
That's where it really gets annoying, is that some of it hasn't changed, especially in different parts of the world.
Right.
Like some women can't even have education in some parts of the world right now, and it's 2023. So yeah, it is small. It is very small. Yeah. What does this say? Oh, why won't this come up? Oh, there we go. What was the lady's name? I wish I looked up that. What was her name? Something with a B or something. I'm gonna have to look it up because yes, I am her. Except I don't walk up to people's windows.
Can you imagine? Like there you are.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that. That's just terrible. What was her name? Like Mrs. Oh, it was Gladys. Gladys Kravitz.
Oh, that's Gladys Kravitz. Okay.
Yeah.
I know the name. I didn't know who the character was.
Yeah, I'm totally her. Totally her. But I don't go and look through people's windows like straight up. And really, I'm only interested in this house, which she was too. I mean, she was very concerned about this woman being a witch. But it's just because it's like so bizarre. We've been here for almost 7 years and there have been almost as many owners to that house. So yeah. Oh, Debbie knew. Do you think they could watch your channel? Yeah, no. I don't know. Yeah, that's me. I am totally Mrs. Kravitz. No, they probably are too high and mighty for like little booktube. They probably watch CNN and Fox News or something and only read New York bestsellers. They read it all.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so that is the update on Dani's crazy neighbor situation. But my neighbor that lives next door, like on the same side of the street as us, so it's a duplex rental, and we know the owner because the owner used to live there, but now he lives across town, not across town, the same side of town, but like over there. And his son lives in one side, and then his ex-girlfriend's niece lives on the other side. And this woman, her name is Tara, super nice, like no qualms with her, but it's hilarious because she only recognizes me when I'm in my yard. So like I was walking the baby the other day when it was nice. I'm passing her like in front of her house, and I said, "Hey," like that, like enthusiastic, and she's like, "Hi." And I'm like, oh my God, she doesn't even recognize me. I'm literally 2 feet away from my house. But because I'm not in my yard, she's like, I have no idea who this lady is. Which is hilarious because, I mean, I look the same. I was wearing sunglasses, but I mean, everything else, like pregnant lady, baby, same hair. Did you not just see me come out of my house? Must not have, because yeah. Right. She was totally like, did not know who I was, which was funny. But yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm just going to have crazy neighbor stories.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. I keep meeting people now all of a sudden, like just walking. one day I was walking and I was like maybe 3 or 4 houses away from my house. And there's these 2 women walking and I recognized them. I knew who they were. But I know they don't know who I am because why would they know who I am? Because I'm the one that's always watching out the window, right? So they were kind of talking to this other neighbor who we know who walks her dog like 27 times a day. And they're walking some random dogs. I'm like, those aren't your dogs, but whatever. And we kind of like started chatting because I was like catching up to them in their little conversation. So it was kind of like I was breaking up the conversation because I was coming with the stroller. And they're like, oh, we gotta go. I'm like, oh, don't mean to like make you keep walking. They're like, oh, ha, ha, ha. And then we got to my house and I was like making a comment about the other neighbor about how like, oh, don't let her fool you. She's been out like 10 times today. And they're like, oh yeah, ha, ha, ha. And they're like, oh, I'm Jessica and this is Olivia. And I'm like, yeah, you live in the white house with the pink shutters. And they're like, they got like really like, how do you know that?
Yeah.
And I was like, I have nothing else to do. I know where everyone lives.
Yeah.
I'm like, you have the little chihuahua. And the reason why I know you and I know where you live is because you let your little chihuahua poop in my yard and you never clean it up. But I didn't say that.
Right.
But I'm like, that's why I know who you are.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, she's got a really good looking husband.
Oh.
Like he's like a bodybuilder must be or something. And one of the years that my stepdaughter was selling popsicles, he came down with his daughter to buy some popsicles, and he was wearing like what are those like tank tops or whatever, and like
a tank top.
You could see all the muscles, and I was like, I know where you live. I'm going trick or treating to that house. So anywho, and then when she said that this was her daughter, I was like, oh my gosh, because she grew like must have grown 7 inches over the winter because last summer she was riding her scooter up and down the block and she looked like a kid. And when I saw her the other day, she looked like a young woman. I was like, oh my gosh. She's like, I know, overnight. I'm like, wow. And of course the kid's like super embarrassed and like, why are you talking about how I grew so much? And I'm like, and she's probably like, how do you know who I am, you crazy lady? But so it's funny. And then the other day I was walking, like not even on my block, but I was like way down on another block. And I saw this lady leaving her house with her little girl who was probably like 2 or 3 on one of those balance bikes. So it didn't have pedals, but you just use your legs. And then she had a baby in a carrier or in a wrap. Mm-hmm. And I've been wanting to buy a wrap for the new baby, but I don't know which one to get. Like I want to be able to wear it and also breastfeed with it. So I'm like, I really hope I catch up with this lady because I want to ask her what kind of wrap she has.
Yeah.
So of course, being a good mother, she makes the little girl stop at every corner and like look both ways. So I have the opportunity to catch up to her. And I'm like, oh, excuse me. Cause I caught up and I was like, I don't mean to have a weird question or anything, but what kind of wrap is that? And she told me, and I'd never heard of the brand, which means it's probably bougie. And not sold on Amazon. But I never heard of it before. And I said, can you breastfeed with that? And she's like, not really. She's like, you have to really loosen it up and so it's like pointless. It's not really. And I'm like, darn. And she's like, what's your name? And I was like, it doesn't really matter what my name is because I don't live anywhere near your house. Like, but I told her, and her name was Amanda or whatever. Super, super nice. And then it was kind of awkward because then it was kind of like I was following her. So then I turned down the street and then we ended up bumping into each other on like another street because I was like weaving back. So yeah, I just randomly meet people now. It is like the thing to do. It's just the thing to do.
Yeah.
Meeting random people when you're walking. Yeah.
Bad.
Yep. And then of course, baby G like screams at everybody. Like doesn't scream, but she just does this thing where she's just like, like she's talking to them or something, but from like across the street. So if like there was some workmen like cleaning up for the day because it was like around 5 o'clock, and she's like, ah, ah, ah. Like she's talking. And I'm like, oh my gosh. She scared this young man. We were walking across the street and, you know, you do the head nod and he was like, evening, ma'am, which I was like, okay,
Excuse me.
that's very formal. But I was like, okay. And then right as we were like hitting together, she goes, ah. And he goes, he starts laughing. And I'm like, I'm so sorry if she scared you. She's just saying hello. So we meet all sorts of people out walking. It's pretty funny. So the live discussion, Mary, is going to be on the 30th.
Yeah.
So May 30th. It is the last Tuesday of May. So you have a couple of weeks to read. Speaking of reading, we should probably read. Dani chats way too much. So we've done 2 sprints.
Mhm.
Are we feeling like just one more? Are we hitting our wall? Okay. That sounds good. For clarity here, everyone. It's about 10, almost coming on 10:30 by us. So we're getting tired here. So yeah, let's do one more sprint and then we'll come back one more time to say our goodbyes. Just for numbers wise, let's pretend it's on the 20 and come back at the 55. That way we can like kind of end on a whole number-ish. So yeah, 55. Yeah. Okay. Well, good luck with reading, everyone, and we'll see you on the flip side. Just kidding. It's on the 45 because that's math.
Oh, I just got to a really good part.
I may have to like go back and listen from the beginning. Because like I'm catching some of it, but like I'm also doing other things while I'm doing this, and that's usually not how I listen to audiobooks. So I feel like I'm kind of missing like key
Yeah, I think.
pieces
Mm-hmm.
of the plot.
Mm-hmm.
Because in one of the parts when Edwina's talking, she's like legit like planning out how she's switching these babies, and all of a sudden I was like, wait, what are you gonna do? So I might have to just go back to the beginning.
Yeah, that might be a good idea.
Start over. I am surprised with how much is happening like
Mhm.
right away. So I'm very interested, and that's why I want to go back. Usually with any other audiobook where it's just like I'll figure it out as it goes. But this I'm actually like really intrigued. Like I want to know what's happening.
Yeah.
So yeah. Yes, where are you up to?
Oh, hi, Allie. I am on page 85, which doesn't mean anything to you guys. So it's Kitty's diary. And there's a question about Venetia that just got asked because, yeah. So I'm going to finish this chapter before I do anything else tonight because I need to see exactly what she saw and find out what's going to happen. So yeah, they're getting ready for the festival in the next town. But lots of other stuff.
Sure.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's but I noticed you were coming back and I read the next chapter. I was like, oh. So yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to start over. I think I'm like to like 11%. So I mean, it won't be much to start over. No big deal. But with Libby, you only get 16 days, so I better hurry up. But I'm sure I could borrow it. But yeah,
I'm coming up on a quarter of the way through. So
nice.
yeah.
Nice.
And where are you at? If she's talking about switching the babies.
Well, I'm in Kitty's. So I heard from is Venetia the Indian girl?
No,
That's
she's Abby's older sister.
oh. Well, I got for the first time the Indian girl who I think she's Indian. She like writes in there. She's writing in the diary because she said it makes her English better. She's like friends
Oh,
with the young girl.
I think she's Polish.
No, I swear they said she was Indian because she was giving her something, and Kitty, which I think is the 13-year-old girl, said something like, "This is what they wear in India." And then the accent that I heard sound. I mean, maybe I'm not good at accents, but I thought so.
I thought she
Yeah,
was
I'm just gonna have to re-listen to it because clearly I'm hearing things.
Czech or something. And that she just got out.
Oh, well, maybe it's because the kitty said something about India that I just assumed.
Yeah, Kitty is now studying with Prim, and Prim grew up in India, and they're going through all of her stuff.
Okay. So, but she's not Indian. Okay, I just assumed because I'm not, I was half listening.
It's like, wait, what?
Thank you, Allie. Think she's Czech, refugee fleeing from Germans. It's because I'm half listening. Like I said, I'm gonna have to go back and re-listen to the beginning, which is fine because it's very interesting. So I don't mind it. And Allie, you are absolutely correct. The audio definitely makes it. The Edwina character, like the way she talks, she's like super creepy. Like, yeah, she's a nutcase. So
Making me want to get that too, but I know I'll read faster than I listen.
yeah,
We'll see.
yeah.
I'll try it.
Yeah, I have it on 2 speed. So, ay. I keep thinking like as we're talking here, like something keeps popping up in my head that I want to say, and then it like goes away immediately. So who knows? But this little bear here has been moving so much lately, like, and uncomfortably so. Like the whole time I've been sitting here, he has been like doing somersaults, I swear. But he can't. Like I can see exactly where his body is. Like that seems weird, but it's true. Like I know exactly, like this is his butt.
Mm-hmm.
And it just curves down. And then like sometimes I feel like I can, it's like his arm or something. Ugh.
Yeah.
It's so uncomfortable. And when I'm sitting like I'm sitting here, it's like compacted. So it hurts even more. It's so much easier to just lay down, like, and give him space to like mutilate my innards.
No kidding.
Oh my gosh. And you know, Baby G moved a lot, but I don't remember it being like this. I do think I'm smaller this time. Like I don't think I'm as big. But oh my gosh. And I've actually been losing weight since this whole diabetes thing, which they're not concerned about because I was overweight to begin with. But I definitely don't think he has as much room as she did. So, my goodness. It's annoying.
Lay down so you can.
I know, I'm going to. Yeah.
Or whatever he's doing in there.
Yeah. Well, this is when he's most active, is like the nighttime when I'm laying down. And then he just like, I don't know what he does. It's so weird. Like tries to escape or something. I don't know. But okay, folks. Looks like Mary made it to 16.
Nice.
Yes, thank you for being here. It's always nice to see you. For anyone who's watching this in replay, gold star. But yeah, I hope you all had a great night. Thank you for joining us for Reading Sprints. The next time you see us, it'll be for our live discussion of the book, the Chilbury Ladies Choir, which will be on May 30th. I did put a poll up for June reads here in our DoubleBookedCo YouTube channel community tab. That's the only place you'll see that poll. And I did put a cap on voting to Sunday the 21st. Okay. So Monday we'll announce the winner via Boxer, Instagram, and a community post about that. So be sure to vote. Other than that, if you're interested in our Etsy shop at all, that will all be dropping by tomorrow at 10 a.m. I was kind of working on that now. That's why I was like half listening, because I was like looking at listings and stuff. But yeah, but great night. Thanks. Sorry it wasn't too many sprints. I know we get a little chatty, but it's all in good fun, right?
Yeah, it's a Tuesday
You're
night.
very welcome, Debbie.
Thanks, Debbie.
You have a nice night as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, I think we'll call it a night then, and wish everybody adieu and happy reading and happy Cinco de Mayo. That's coming up.
Yeah. Ooh, I gotta make time.
Yeah. Actually, it's funny because tacos is like homemade tacos are one of the meals that I can really enjoy without feeling like, because the carbs are really only in the tortilla shell. So I can eat at least 2 loaded tacos and not feel any shame or guilt.
Yeah.
And my numbers come out pretty good afterwards. So like pretty psyched about that.
Nice.
I know. So, but I don't think we'll get tacos on Cinco de Mayo because we eat tacos whenever we want.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I mean, you like to eat tacos out, but like homemade tacos at home, there's nothing better. I mean, you can really load whatever you want in there. And I know they're not like traditional tacos by any means.
Yeah.
But oh man, so good.
Mm-hmm.
Anywho, yes.
Thanks,
we will see you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, you know Voxer. Good old Voxer. I know I have a couple of London videos to film. I have to finish chapter 5, The Tower, which is one of my favorite chapters. Just frickin' Ralph Silver Sleeves, man. I want to punch him in the face.
Yeah. A lot of
But,
those.
yeah. Before we get on another tangent,
Yeah.
y'all have a good night, and we'll see you next time.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.